The human voice is the only instrument that can start a war or say, "I love you." It's the most powerful tool we have, but most people go their entire lives without learning how to play it. Not because they don't want to be heard, but because no one ever showed them how to speak in a way that makes people want to listen. We live in a world where noise fills the air, but silence fills the soul. Where everyone is talking, but no one's truly saying anything. And maybe that's the reason we feel so alone, even in a room full of people. But if you can learn to speak from the heart, with presence, with purpose, and with power, then your voice can do something more rare than start a war or say, "I love you." It can move a person. It can open them. It can reach into the invisible space between two human beings and build a bridge where none existed before. Most people think charisma is volume. That influence is about dominance. That respect is earned by proving you're right. But that's not power. That's theater. And theater might impress people, but it rarely changes them. Real power, the kind that rewires hearts and wakes people up, is quiet. It's steady. It listens more than it speaks. It chooses words like an artist chooses colors, not to show off the brush, but to bring the canvas to life. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't to win the conversation. The goal is to win the person. That starts with confidence, not arrogance, not ego, confidence. The kind that comes from knowing who you are when nobody's watching. Because before you can be heard by the world, you have to listen to yourself. You have to get quiet enough to hear your own truth. You have to stand in it, breathe in it, own it. You don't need to pretend. You don't need a louder voice. You need a clearer one. You need to speak from the place where your story lives, not your script. When you do that, people don't just hear you, they feel you. And when they feel you, they trust you. That's the foundation of influence. Not manipulation, not tactics, trust. And trust is built in the small moments, when you choose curiosity over judgment, presence over performance, honesty over convenience. You don't win people by overpowering them. You win them by seeing them, by asking the questions nobody else bothers to ask, by listening like it's an art, not a task. Dale Carnegie once said, "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to make them interested in you." Why? Because interest is the birthplace of empathy, and empathy is the language of leaders. You want people to follow you, don't try to impress them. Try to understand them. Don't talk down. Don't talk over. Don't talk at all until you've listened long enough to speak with them. That's the difference between someone who talks and someone who transforms. You want to be unforgettable in a room, make someone feel seen. That's it. That's the whole trick. And yet it's not a trick. It's a commitment to being human, to choosing connection over control. That's what sets true communicators apart. They're not just heard, they're felt. But it's not always easy. Because the moment you speak with truth and heart, you make yourself vulnerable. You open the door to criticism, to misunderstanding, to judgment. But here's the truth no one talks about. If you're going to stand for something, you have to be willing to be misunderstood for it. The strongest voices are forged in fire. Abraham Lincoln was called weak. Eleanor Roosevelt was told she lacked charm. Carnegie was mocked for being too soft. But none of them changed who they were just to silence the critics. They knew criticism isn't a stop sign. It's a mirror, and sometimes it reflects the insecurities of others more than our own flaws. So you listen, you learn, but you don't live in their opinions. Because the moment you let other people write your story, you lose the right to tell it. Speak anyway, even if your voice trembles. Speak with kindness, yes, but not with apology. Speak your truth. Not to prove you're right, but to prove it matters. And when you lead with empathy, you don't just get attention. You earn respect. See, empathy isn't weakness. It's courage. It's the bravery to feel when it's easier to shut down. The strength to open when the world says close off. It's easy to yell. It's easy to judge. It's easy to perform. But empathy is work. It requires you to step outside yourself, to understand pain that isn't yours, to carry a piece of someone else's story without needing to fix it. And in doing so, you become someone people don't just hear, they trust. That's where meaning lives, not in the words you say, but in how those words make people feel. You don't have to be a preacher. You don't have to be a poet, but you do have to care, because the words that change the world don't come from minds. They come from hearts. When you speak from that place, even a whisper can echo forever. But here's the twist. It's not always about what you say. Sometimes it's about how you say it. The rhythm, the warmth, the pause between the lines, the honesty in your tone, the music of your presence. You have a toolbox. Your voice has texture. It has gravity. It has melody. And the more intentionally you use it, the more power it carries. A well-timed silence can speak louder than any sentence. A single word spoken with truth can rewrite a life. You don't need to scream to be heard. You need to resonate. And to resonate, you need to mean it. Every pause, every word, every breath. Speak like it matters, because it does. But let it be real. Let it be human. And most of all, let it be for them, not just for you. Because the secret, communication isn't about you. It's about service. It's about what you give, not what you get. It's not about convincing. It's about connecting. It's not about sounding smart. It's about making someone feel less alone. That's the power of appreciation, the power of noticing, the power of saying, I see you. You matter. You're not invisible. We live in a world starving for acknowledgement, and yet it costs nothing to give. So give it, freely, generously. Often appreciate before you criticize. Understand before you assume. Uplift before you correct. Because correction without compassion is just condemnation, and people don't grow from condemnation. They shrink. You want someone to change, start by making them feel safe. That's what humility does. That's what service does. It creates a space where transformation becomes possible, and that's the most important thing a voice can do. It can open doors inside people that they didn't even know were locked, but you've got to be willing to walk through that door yourself. You've got to be willing to grow, to speak less, to listen more, to get things wrong, to say I'm sorry, to mean it. That's not weakness. That's legacy. Because at the end of the day, people won't remember what you said. They'll remember how you made them feel. And that feeling, that's what builds relationships. That's what builds families. That's what builds companies. That's what builds nations. Communication doesn't just describe reality. It creates it. So speak with care. Speak with heart. Speak with courage. And when your voice falters, when your confidence wavers, when you wonder if it's even worth it, remember this. There's someone out there right now who needs exactly what only you can say. Not because you're perfect, but because you're honest. Not because you have answers, but because you've been there. Because your story, your struggle, your stumbles are exactly what will give them the strength to keep going. So speak, not to be impressive, but to be real. Speak, not to be right, but to be true. Speak, not to fill the air, but to move the soul. And when you do, you won't just speak so that people listen. You'll speak so they never forget.